Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube channel, where I'm always breaking down the hot sports topics of the day. My name is Mike. I'm continuing my 2013 7-round NFL mock draft with picks 1 through 10 of the second round, picks 33 through 42 overall. My entire first round of the mock draft is up, so be sure to check that out. And be sure to subscribe to my channel here, guys, for daily sports talk videos delivered directly to your feed here on YouTube. Let's get right to it. Pick number 33 overall is a pick held by the Jacksonville Jaguars. First pick in the second round. I think the Jaguars address their much needed concern here at the quarterback position and take Geno Smith, the quarterback from West Virginia. I think he makes a lot of sense here. I think now you're not tied to the risk of a first-round pick. Also, you have to remember the coach, GM, and owner that are in place now in Jacksonville was not the regime that drafted Blaine Gabbert in the first round. So they have no ties to him. They don't have a huge financial commitment tied into him. So I like Geno Smith as the pick at the top of the second round here for the Jaguars. 34 overall was a pick that belonged to the Chiefs and will now, after the Alex Smith trade goes through, belong to the 49ers. The 49ers have a need at the safety position as far as I'm concerned, and I think they use this pick to take Johnthan Cyprien, the safety from Florida International. A lot of people even have Cyprien sliding into the first round. I think, though, he's a huge get here for the 49ers, sort of the rich get richer type scenario, and the 49ers get him at 34 overall. Pick number 35 belongs to the Philadelphia Eagles. I had the Eagles addressing their offensive line needs in the first round. I think they go to the other side of the ball on the defensive line here. Sam Montgomery from LSU makes sense here because he's the last of these quality pass rushing defensive ends I think that are available here. I think there's a little bit of a drop off after Montgomery. So I think Chip Kelly takes Sam Montgomery, defensive end, LSU here with the pick number 35. Pick 36 belongs to the Lions. The Lions are just so decimated and not even decimated, just have a lack of talent in the secondary. I think they go secondary again here in the way of strong safety Matt Elam from the University of Florida. At this point, I have Elam as the third best player on my board at this point, and he's plays a serious position of need for the Lions. So I think he makes sense. Matt Elam to the Lions here at the top of the second round. Next is the Cincinnati Bengals. This is the Raiders' former pick that was acquired in the Carson Palmer trade. The Bengals, they got lucky. They sort of struck gold with Vontaze Burfict last year, a linebacker from Arizona State. Other than Burfict, their linebacking core played very poorly. So I think they use this pick to bolster that linebacking core and get Khaseem Greene, the playmaking linebacker from Rutgers. I know not many people watch Big East football. I happen to live in Big East country, if you will. So I watch a little bit of Big East football. And, you watch Rutgers. He's the guy that jumped out to you. You watch game tape on him. He's just a playmaker. He's one of those kind of linebackers. And I think it's a position they desperately need opposite a guy like Burfict, who's more of a steady tackler. After the Bengals here, it's the Cardinals pick. The Cardinals, I think there's two big needs for them coming into this draft, and that was on the offensive line and at quarterback. I had them taking Warmack, number 7 overall. There was even some rumors that they would take Matt Barkley, 7 overall in the first round. Well, I think that would be a reach. If you look here, with the pick they have here in the second round, I think Barkley totally makes sense. You have Matt Barkley, going to play for Bruce Arians, who had a hand in developing Roethlisberger and obviously brought Andrew Luck along quite well last year. You have Barkley going to a warmer climate, which I think will help because he doesn't have the strongest arm. I just think this pick makes sense as a whole for the Cardinals because they just need an upgrade at that position. And although I don't think Matt Barkley is great, I think he's certainly better than what they have now. After the Cardinals here, the 7th pick overall in the second round belongs to the New York Jets. The Jets have some needs on the offensive line. I think they get a guy here that addresses needs at tackle and guard if needed even, and that's Dallas Thomas from Tennessee. They have a need at right tackle to replace Austin Howard, or at least get him some competition. And they also have a need at the offensive guard spot to replace the Vladimir Dukas, Matt Slauson experiment, which has gone woefully wrong. I think they have a guy like Dallas Thomas, and now they have flexibility if they take him. They can play him at guard, they can play him at tackle, and for a Jets line that noticeably lacked depth in a serious way the last couple of years, I think this is why he makes sense here for the Jets at the top of the second round. Next pick is the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are a team that I think had some needs on the defensive side of the ball, all right, at tackle and also at corner. The second round pick, I think they address it with a cornerback, and I think they're lucky to get Johnthan Banks from Mississippi State to slip to them here. Banks slipped a little bit, okay, in this draft. Has slipped a little bit in the draft only because his 40 time wasn't what people expected. Banks is a guy, if he performs well at his pro day, he could creep up a little more on people's big boards. But right now, I have him nestled in here for the Titans here at the top of the second round. The pick number 9 overall in the second round belongs to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, outside of a pass rusher, I had them taking Jarvis Jones in the first round. I think their next biggest need is at quarterback. If you look at how many turnovers Ryan Fitzpatrick has had over the last 2 years, I think there's a big outcry in Buffalo to improve at this position. I think if Ryan Fitzpatrick played in a bigger market, I think you'd hear even more about how inconsistent he's been over the last 2 years. He's almost been as inconsistent as Mark Sanchez has been, and that's saying a lot, especially if you watch Sanchez on a week in, week out basis. Doug Marrone, the new the new head coach in Buffalo. Ryan Nassib, his old college quarterback, sitting right here at pick number 9 in the second round. Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator now with the Bills, used to be the offensive coordinator in Syracuse. This is one of those picks that you don't want to overthink it because it makes too much sense. And Ryan Nassib is a second-round prospect anyway, so Ryan Nassib to the Buffalo Bills with the 9th pick here in the second round. To close out the top 10 in the second round here, you have the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, I think they have needs at wide receiver, cornerback, and defensive end. I had a nice defensive end in Bijan Werner slipping to them with their first round pick. So I had them taking him there. I think wide receiver, they addressed in free agency, like I've been saying all along, to someone to go along with Brian Hartline. So I think cornerback makes sense for them here. David Amerson from North Carolina State had a great combine. He's a bigger cornerback. His game tape is not great, which is why I don't think he goes in the first round. If you look at his measurables and his 40 time, he has first round pick all over him. But the game tape, I think, makes him available here in the second round for the Dolphins. David Amerson from North Carolina State rounds out the top 10 for the Dolphins here in the second round. Up next, guys, I'll be doing picks 11 through 20 of the second round. Again, the first round is already up, so be sure to check that out. And guys, again, subscribe to my channel here, and you get all my videos delivered directly to your feed. Thanks again for listening, guys, and have a great night.